Corruption Watch says there's been a rise in anti-corruption reporting. This was announced in its 2016 report on the state of corruption in South Africa. From an average of 11 reports of corruption each day, now that's up from 8 reports per day in 2015. The number of whistleblowers increasing as the rate of corruption rises.
Corruption, an insidious problem that threatens to spiral out of control if it's not nipped in the bud. From the public sector to the private sector.
Right now, the state of corruption in South Africa is increasing by the day. It's making our country an unhappy place.
I think there's a lot of perceived corruption in South Africa, but it's not specifically South Africa. It's a global phenomenon.
It has gone very bad. And I'm from Carltonville, and we've experienced it a lot.
It is an issue that needs to be addressed seriously. I mean, for the economic well-being of the country.
Corruption Watch says it's received a staggering 4,000 tip-offs in 2016.
Corruption is an interaction between the private and the public, whether it's a traffic cop and a private citizen. So, when we expose a government department having been involved in the issue of a corrupt tender, you can bet your bottom dollar that on the other side of it is a firm that has paid them to benefit from the transaction.
People are fed up. On average, they receive 11 reports of corruption a day, compared to 7 reports a day in 2015. For Legal Eagle David Loxton, who deals with white-collar crimes in the public and private sector, anti-corruption measures need to be tightened.
The state of corruption is very, very bad. It's very high. It's almost, I think it is a way of life with South Africa, and that is public sector and private sector. Many people, many commentators will always look to the public sector and give examples of misconduct in the government and state-owned enterprise, etc. The private sector is just as bad. They're paying the bribes, they're involved in collusive activities, and that is why our corruption legislation is extended to cover the private sector.
Illusion exposed recently to various reports of tender fraud and corruption, anti-corruption legislation is not being followed. The levels of corruption across sectors should induce shock. But the sad thing is, this doesn't. All it takes is just one person to stand up and say, enough is enough to corruption. Nozintombi Mia, SABC News, Johannesburg.